Hi, today is August 17th, 2026, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 1273 for the year, Truly Striking. There are certain sections of the subway that are rusted and dirty and worn, but when viewed in calculated isolation look like the walls of ancient caves, full of mystery and wonder and awesome, intricate detail. Nature works its magic not just on natural formations, but on human-created structures as well, and so it was that as I walked up the far too many steps at the uptown East 33rd Street stop, I stopped, not so much because it was far too many steps, but to admire something truly striking. Poem number 1274, Trudy Biking. Man, you should have seen Trudy biking. She was so strong that she only had to pedal for about 15 seconds to generate enough power to go an entire mile. She won every race she ever entered, but she didn't enter many races because she had a very busy job and because competitive biking took some of the fun out of it for her. But if you were lucky enough to have been bopping around when she was in her heyday, you would have had to have made sure not to blink as she cruised down the Hudson River bike path. If you got close to her while you were biking, you could get blown over by Trudy. If you got too close to her while you were hiking, you could get blown over by Trudy biking. Poem number 1275, Judy Viking. Man, you should have seen Judy Viking. She was nearly 7 feet tall and very imposing in her Viking clothing. She could tear men apart with her bare hands, and when she did, that was quite a sight to see. Of course, she only did it to men that deserved it, but it was rare that there wasn't a man who deserved it when Judy Viking was in one of her tear a man apart moods. She and her crew sailed the ocean blue and looted and pillaged and did all of the various and sundry things that Vikings are known to do. But those who knew Judy Viking said that she did those Viking things with more artistry and panache than any Viking that ever walked the earth. If you met her, I'm sure you'd take a liking to Judy Viking. Poem number 1276, The Two Numbers. 117 was in love with 248 and would not waver despite the huge numerical distance, which was in fact more than double. Everyone says it can't possibly work, 117 would often say, but the cultural divide between us is really not that great, and I'm an old soul, and 248 is in great shape for someone who is nearly 1/4 of the way to 1,000. And yes, I'm like only 1/9 of the way to 1,000, but it's not about how relatively close anyone is to 1,000. It's about love. The speech failed to convince more than a very small number of numbers, but it did convince 248, and the two three-digit numbers lived together happily until it became clear that 117 could never catch up to 248, and 248 couldn't go backwards. So the numbers agreed to part amicably, and they remained friends for an infinite number of days. And the last poem of the day, poem number 1277, The Three Letters. The three letters loved being a throuple, but it depressed them a bit that no matter what positions they tried, they could never spell out a word. I love you both, said one of the letters, but it would be lovely if one of us was a vowel. I'm not suggesting that either of you or I can be replaced, but it would be sweet if together we could mean something. I keep saying that we could be an acronym, said one of the other letters. Obviously not a pronounceable acronym, but an acronym nonetheless. Then together we would stand for something, even if we didn't mean anything per se. But the two other letters rejected this idea. To them, the idea of being a mere acronym just didn't sound appealing at all. I'd like to be able to tell you that eventually the three letters worked something out and lived happily ever after as a throuple for the remainder of their days. But the truth is, all three of them could read the writing on the walls, and they knew their situationship was doomed. All right, that's it. Thank you. I appreciate you.